This is the business of Africa. If it's about Africa, then it's our business, bringing big and small business issues right to your doorstep. So digital retail is on the rise in Africa, granted. The growth is not across the board. The continent is nonetheless experiencing an e-commerce boom, if you will. Whether you're a consumer or a startup with a scalable solution looking to fully leverage e-commerce, one thing is for sure. Opportunities abound on and for the continent. So what does it take to realize them? Always a key question. Well, Andrew Bourne is country head of Zoho South Africa. He joins us to take a look at this. Andrew, thank you so much for your time on the Business of Africa podcast. Maybe let's start with definitions, right? So when we talk about e-commerce, essentially, what are we talking about and what does that look like on the continent? Is there a continental view, overview? Should we look at it regionally or country specific?
I think you can look at it as a continent view. It would be e-commerce would be a business that sells products frequently, as opposed to maybe someone who puts occasional products on, let's say, social media or like a marketplace. So it would be an established business that has an online presence, that is frequently advertising products, not necessarily holding stock, because we do know about drop shipment structures, but someone that is frequently selling products and is analyzing, which products are selling well and selling more of those products, as opposed to someone that's maybe just buying the odd product here and there and then reselling it.
Okay. What are drop shipment structures?
So drop shipment is basically where you don't actually hold the stock. So you don't have a warehouse. The stock is actually held in other businesses' warehouses. So what you're doing is you're advertising their products on your website or on your platform. And then when someone places an order with you, you then request the company to then deliver and ship that item on your behalf to the customer.
Got it. So we are saying that we are seeing rather a boom in e-commerce on the continent. Is that the right sort of way to look at it? Is that the reality, I guess, in practice?
Yes, definitely. I mean, if you look at the continent as a whole, there is far more mobile use. There's a very young generation that's coming through, the Gen Z. In the next, they say in 2030, it'll be the most powerful consumer in the world. In 2030, the age group will be between 18 and 33. So that's your youth that will be the most powerful consumer. And they'll even influence their parents' purchasing decisions. And so they want mobile first. They want efficiency. They want convenience. And that's what e-commerce gives you.
Mm-hmm. Are there markets that are leading within the continent?
Yeah, definitely. The likes of Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and Egypt are probably the big ones to speak of. And then there's some smaller ones that are also, putting a lot of effort into digital upskilling and have a very tech-savvy youth. Like there's Uganda, Rwanda, and Morocco. But in a whole, those top four are the big players.
You mentioned the continent's youth dividend, and there's always a question tied to that in terms of how do you realize that dividend, right? And so when we take a look at young people who are looking to enter into e-commerce or who are playing in the space, what does it take to build and scale a platform?
Well, you would need, your foundational technology. Obviously, look to use your free or your very well-priced technology. Make use of platforms like WhatsApp. You can make use of the social medias to market out there. And then I think just a bit of advice would be to focus on a niche. Focus on something that you are very knowledgeable about. You can upskill yourself on that niche and push a lot of marketing or a lot of content out there to show people that you know what you're talking about. That's always also going to help build the trust, because at the end of the day, people want to buy from people that they trust. And being the specialist in that field or around those products or services is very important.
So when you speak of focusing on a niche, it's important to understand the dynamics of supply and demand. How would you characterize them?
So you would have to understand the whole, value chain or the whole journey, let's say, of when a customer is maybe looking for a product in that industry or space, and then following all the way till it arrives and it reaches their door. You need to have the logistical aspects put in place. You need to have the ease of payment is very important. And then also to get their feedback and get customer reviews. And then if they have a problem with the product, you need to be very good with your customer service and be able to react quickly and, handle warranty claims and things like that.
When we look at the continent in particular, what drives customer activity? When you speak of knowing your market, right? Is it availability? Is it affordability? Or is it convenience? Are we like other markets, or is there a big difference here at play?
No, I think everyone is very similar. It'll maybe change. I think your maybe more informal markets would value price. So affordability, whereas I would say your more mid-market is more convenience, and customer experience. They really want you to save them time and help them because they're, most of them are, let's say, very, very busy. There's maybe two parents that are working, so they're in the workplace. So to make their lives a lot easier is more so important there. And then availability is also very important. And I think e-commerce businesses need to understand that they need to analyze which products are selling very well. And they need to make sure that they've got supply of those products. Because the one thing that can really hurt your business is if there's a product that everyone wants, but now you don't have stock to fulfill those orders. So it's also, I think, analyzing, and you can use some business intelligence tools to do it. And obviously with AI, it also makes it easier. But to know which of those top selling products and really focus on making sure that those are available.
Speaking of availability, what products are leading demand on the continent specifically?
So we see a lot of tech, technology apps that can help people, make their lives easier, make businesses' lives easier. And then you've got your consumer brands, your wellness products, your beauty products are doing extremely well. In Africa, there's hair products that are focused on the African market doing very well. And so, it's mainly those sort of products that are fast moving.
Andrew, how much of a barrier are data costs and connectivity?
I think, it's always been a barrier because, data costs have been very high, and then also connectivity has been a bit challenging throughout the continent. But we've seen that the data prices are coming down, and now there is more and more coverage being put in place. And that's purely because of the demand. People can see that Africa is a fast growing continent, that we have very fast population growth. And if you compare that to Europe, Africa is the place you want to be doing business, So definitely, I think connectivity and coverage is always going to be an important factor, but we're definitely improving on that.
What do you say to somebody who wants to enter into the space yet is looking at big players, right? Or the bigger players, especially multinational companies that are on the continent. Is there space for this young population on the African continent to actually hold their own?
Yeah, definitely. I think again, focusing on a niche product, and I'll give you an example. There was a gentleman in South Africa who focused on LED flashlights, and that was his thing. He just sold that online, and he became a specialist in there. He created videos where he spoke about the flashlight and the details and the specifications, and he's gone on now to selling many different products, So now he's doing like car battery chargers. He does these car tire inflators, these mobile inflators. He's now going on to do a whole range of camping gear. So it really is about focusing on a specific niche, becoming the specialist in that field, building trust with the customers out there. And then it's also important getting reviews and testimonials. When people are out there and they can see, this person who lives in my country bought this product and they're deriving value from it, it's so easy for them to quickly go on and now commit to buying. You just got to make sure that whole purchasing process is easy and the payment is easy. So offering all the different payment options, like in Kenya, the mobile money is a big payment option. In South Africa, you've got different options. You've got SnapScan and Zapper, and these. We've got also PayShop now, which is coming through, which is really exciting. So you need to make sure that you're really allowing your customers a really easy process when they are purchasing from you.
Speaking of which, what are we seeing when it comes to currency exchanges?
So I think, that's something that is still, obviously there's, taxation laws and laws between countries. And I know African continent is establishing a free trade, agreement, and that's only going to get better as time goes by. But at the moment, the payment is quite easy because the currency exchange just happens when you put in your credit card details. And companies, these payment gateways are also looking at the crypto space and stable coins and all these other payment methods to just have them all available.
On the African Continental Free Trade Area, of what consequence will it be to e-commerce?
Yeah, I think it will make things easier. If you pull out of, there's a government department, the red tape, they basically take away the challenging, paperwork that needs to be done, and they've digitized it more, and they've made it more efficient. And I think we'll get that with this free trade agreement, where there will be standardized, ways of conducting business. There'll be, hopefully lowering tariffs between countries, and also non-tariff barriers. So I think it will make it easier. It's just going to take a little bit of time for all the countries to come to consensus on certain things. But that is the goal. The goal is to make it easier for people to trade between countries, and it's only going to benefit each country.
For someone who wants to start an e-commerce business, what do they need to know more so on sustainability, right? Is there a competitive advantage for businesses that walk the talk where that is concerned?
Yeah, so that's very important, and I'm glad you brought it up, because Gen Z being the main focus point, that next generation that's going to be the most powerful consumer, they put a lot of value into sustainability. And so you really need to try and be very transparent with your customers and really give them a clear idea as to where the products are manufactured, where they come from, where they can be disposed. If your products have certain batteries, where's the best way to dispose of batteries, that will make it better for the environment. Just like with your privacy, your privacy policies, make sure that your customers know that the privacy is going to be kept, protected and things like that. That's what these Gen Z value. And then to answer the other part of your question, what should they prepare for, someone who wants to start up a, e-commerce business, is you need the tools to be able to communicate with your customers, and you need to make sure that you've got your marketing tools, and you can use free, but at the end of the day, you'll want to move on to the more of the paid software, so that you can handle warranty claims, so that you can do automated marketing on, let's say, on WhatsApp, because I think chat commerce is also something that's going to come in. And if you look further into the future, voice commerce, where people will be talking to an AI bot and saying, I would like to buy this sort of shirt that's this color, and this is my size. So it's quite exciting to see where it's going. But I think this big portion of this is going to be very a digital literacy and a tech savviness, to know what tools you're going to need, tech tools you're going to need to set up your business and give your customer the best experience.
Just going back to the market leaders you mentioned, South Africa and Nigeria among others, what makes them such?
I think it's because of the logistical infrastructure. We've got really good last mile delivery kind of partners. And again, partnering also, when you start up your e-commerce business, you're not going to be able to go and compete with the big players from day one. So it's about establishing good partnerships with companies that are going to help you to fulfill on purchases and orders. And I think that's why these countries have done so well, because of the logistical infrastructure, where you can really, get the products, even if it's cross-border, get it to the customer within a decent delivery time.
Fair enough. What's the outlook, would you say, for e-commerce on the continent?
I think it's bright. I think when you hear of international business people in America saying, what would be my next play, they're saying focus on Africa. So it's great to see that people have seen the big opportunities here. Also to establish technical skills. I know I'm a very passionate person when it comes to digital literacy and training people to be able to have the technical skills to not only work, within the African continent, but also then to outsource your technical skills globally and bring foreign currency into the African continent. So I think, it's going to be a very exciting, road ahead, and I'm looking forward to it.
Andrew, perhaps you can just tell us a little bit about Zoho for our listeners who are interested in, and more so who are entrepreneurs, who are starting up and who are looking for the right kind of tools to help them on their journey.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Zoho it's a global technology company. We've been around for more than 29 years. We've got customers in more than 150 countries around the globe, and we've got more than 130 million users that trust and use the software that we produce. We've built more than 55 business applications, and I think a key thing to note is that Zoho owns and invests in all layers of the stack. And when I mean that is, Zoho doesn't go and use third parties. We also don't go and buy other software companies, because that cost of purchasing other software vendors, eventually we have to hand on that cost to the customer. So extremely competitively priced products. And I think important for the listeners to note is that there's two very exciting products. They're more of package deals. The one is Zoho Solo, which is for a solo entrepreneur. You can download it off the App Store. There's a free version that helps you get started. And then the other product, which is the biggest, fastest growing product globally for Zoho, is called Zoho One, where you get 55 apps to run your business, and you pay per employee. So if you're a single person business, you're paying about 600 Rand a month, but you're getting 50 world-class applications, including your whole office suite. So it's basically like getting the toolbox to start your business. And you know that every time you add a new employee, it's going to be an extra cost per month that is really, really affordable. Gotcha. So I think, it's a really nice tool set to build your business and scale.
Andrew, thank you very much for your time on the Business of Africa podcast. Andrew Bourne is country head of Zoho South Africa. And a big thank you to you for choosing the Business of Africa podcast. Do catch us again in the next fortnight, where we bring big and small business issues around the continent right to your doorstep. Bahaichu, Bula.